Tell me your full name and your age.
My name is Elizabeth Billings Bowie, and I am 49 years old, I think.
How are you related to Toots?
Toots, my mother.
Tell me how many summers you have spent in Biddeford Pool.
This is my 11th summer in Biddeford Pool.
What is your first memory of Biddeford Pool?
Oh, my first memory was the first time we came here. We pulled the car up and we walked down to the little beach. And Stacy and Richard and the kids were at the little beach. And I remember thinking that was a great little beach for kids that were my kids' ages. And Davey was like 6 and Liam was like 4 that time.
What is your favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool?
Watch boys.
What is your best memory in Biddeford Pool?
Watching all the boys grow up and take care of each other as they do.
Thank you, Liz, for letting us...
That's all there is? Thank you for doing the interviewing.
Interviewing?
Turn it off.
Tell me your full name and your age.
Full name and what?
Age.
Age. David Bowie, and I'm 48 and a half.
How are you related to Toots?
I'm related to Billings side of the family through marriage. I married Elizabeth Billings, which is your dad's twin sister, 21 years ago.
What is your how many summers have you spent in Biddeford Pool?
This is the 11th summer in Biddeford Pool, and the first summer we were here, your mom was pregnant with you. So you've been 10 summers, but we've been 11. And my kids were about, actually they were just a little younger than you.
What is your first memory of Biddeford Pool?
What's interesting you should say that is we sit on this porch. My first memory of driving into Biddeford Pool, the directions sent us down this road in front of the house. And we came down this dirt road with these beautiful trees and nice houses. You have that beautiful view out to the north and the west over Saco Bay. And what a pretty view it was when we first came in here. And so that was my first really memory and impression and view of Biddeford Pool.
What is your favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool?
Well, that's a hard one, because I think my favorite thing to do in Biddeford, there's so many favorite things to do in Biddeford Pool. Love being with family, love seeing you guys, it's great having everybody together. I just love the whole experience. The house is great, I love going to the big beach, I love going to the little beach, I love kayaking, love sailing, love swimming. Love playing with you guys, going to Sea Dogs games. So it's tough to name one real special memory. They're all great.
What is your best memory in Biddeford Pool?
Let's see. Best memory in Biddeford Pool. I don't know. Again, that's a tough one. I think probably collectively, all together, coming here every year is probably the best memory. I love sailing. Actually, one memory was really neat. One year we canoed over to the old, I think it's Winter Island. Yeah, it's Winter Island, the one with the stone, the old stone lighthouse over there. And we spent like half a day over there, and it was just my family at that point. And we had a great time exploring the island and picking raspberries. My other favorite memory, actually, now that I think of it, is when we all get together and go to the Sea Dogs games. That's fun.
Yeah, that's really fun.
Even though it's not Bid Pool, it's kind of like the whole thing together.
Yeah. Dave, thank you for letting me interview you.
Thank you for taking the time to interview me. By the way, before you shut that up, the first summer was 1995, and you were born in September 5th, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks. Bye.
Tell me your full name and your age.
David Michael Fuis Jr. and I'm 18.
How are you related to two?
I am her first and eldest grandson.
Tell me how many summers you have spent in Bigfoot Pool.
Oh God, how many have I? I think it's 10. Yeah, I think it's 10. I think I was 8 when I came here the first time.
What is your first memory of Bigfoot Pool?
It's a tough one. I think it would be playing out here in the sunroom with Will and Liam and Ben when he was a little kid, like 2 or 3 years old. Yeah, I think that's it.
What is your favorite thing to do in Bigfoot Pool?
I don't know, I just like hanging out with everybody and kind of just being here. It's one of the things I look forward to every year after List is over, or next year when I won't have had List to do. But I just kind of like being here, you know?
What is your best memory of in Bigfoot Pool?
Yes, he had a bagel and...
I don't know, I really don't know. I just, like I said, I just like being here. I'm not sure if I have like a set best memory, but I tend to remember good stuff more than bad stuff, so it's hard to pick out the really good stuff.
Yeah. David, thank you for letting me interview you.
That's it?
Yep.
That was quick.
Tell me your full name and your age.
My name is Richard Chilcote and I'm 46 years old.
How are you related to Toot?
I am Toot's son-in-law and I'm married to her daughter Stacy, her younger daughter Stacy.
How many summers have you spent in Bigfoot Pool?
I have been coming to Biddeford Pool for 15 years, and I know that because William was 1 when we first came. So he's now 16, so I know I've been coming here for 15 years.
What is your first memory of Bigfoot Pool?
Wow, my first memory of Biddeford Pool was pulling up out there in the car and getting out and smelling the salt air and saying, wow, this is a really special place.
What is your favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool?
My favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool is to play soccer on the beach and have big family dinners at night.
What is your best memory in Biddeford Pool?
My best memory in Biddeford Pool? I don't know. I have so many wonderful memories about Biddeford Pool. I would say that watching all the boys grow up and get older each year is my favorite memory about Biddeford Pool.
Sure, thank you for letting me interview you.
Thank you, Ted. Those are good questions.
Thank you. Tell me your full name and your age.
My full name is Jack Morgan Billings, 9 years old.
Who are you related to Toot?
My Toot is my dad's mom.
What is your memory of BP, Biddeford Pool, for people who don't know what that stands for?
First memory.
Just anything, like, not tomorrow doesn't count, but like a few years ago.
My favorite, not my favorite memory. If I don't know anything, was probably going to Gulf Lakes for the first time.
Really? What is your favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool?
My favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool is see my cousins.
What is your best memory in Biddeford Pool?
My
Anything.
best
Anything. It could be tomorrow, today, something.
best
Anything.
memory? My tried lobster for the first time.
And yes, Jack Morgan Billings, thank you for letting us in the video. How many summers have you spent in Biddeford Pool?
10.
Thank you, Jack Morgan Billings. Thank you.
Sure.
Tell me your full name and your age.
My full name is Harry Ray Billings, and I'm 6 years old.
How are you related to Toot?
Toot is my dad's mom.
What is your first memory of BP?
My first
Your first.
being punched in the jaw by Graham the Living.
What is your favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool?
Go to pool fights.
What is your best memory in Biddeford Pool?
Best. Being attacked by the birds.
Yeah. This is the interview, and thank you, Harry Ray Billings, for letting us interview.
Yeah!
Tell me your full name and your age.
My name is Graham Payne Chilcote, and I'm 7 years old.
How are you related to Toot?
My mom's her daughter.
What is your first memory of Biddeford Pool?
The ding-a-ling song that the ice cream truck makes.
What is your favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool?
What?
Your favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool?
Go to the beach.
What is your best memory in Biddeford Pool?
Candy store.
Thank you, Graham Payne Chilcote, for letting us interview you. Tell me your full name and your age.
My name is Benjamin Ray Chilcote, and I am 12, going on 13.
How are you related to Toot?
Toot is my grandmother, or my mom's daughter.
How many summers have you spent in Biddeford Pool?
I spent.
Tell me your full name and your age.
My name is William Billings Chilcote, and I am 16 years old.
And how are you related to Toot?
I am her grandson.
What is your first memory of Biddeford Pool?
First memory. Jeez. Oh, that's tough.
Like as far back as you can remember. It doesn't have to be like the first time you ever came.
Oh. Well, I will. First memories would probably be on the big beach and playing on the little beach, climbing on the rocks over there, where they looks like a cave.
How many summers have you spent in Biddeford Pool?
15.
What is your favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool?
Go to the beach.
What is your best memory?
Best memory?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be your first, but
Best memory. Oh, trying to think what the best memory would be.
it could be last year, this year.
Best
And a year.
memory.
I don't know what the best memory would be. Like my favorite memory?
Yeah, like your favorite memory.
Oh, that's tough. Oh, I gotta think. Oh, that's tough. There's so many to go through.
You can have just basically one. It doesn't matter which one. I'm not gonna criticize.
Well, I can remember the time that we went over to the island out in the middle of the bay with the big smokestack thing in the middle of it.
Yeah.
That was fun. And all the bats were inside.
Pigeons, I seem to remember, but I could be back.
Pigeons, something like that. Yeah, I don't even know. I still don't know what it is. I think it's a viewpoint for sailors.
Yeah.
Something like that in the nighttime.
Thank you, Will, for letting us interview you.
Okay, thank you.
Tell me your full name and your age.
My full name and age. My name is Stacy Billings Chilcote, and I'm 46 this year.
How are you related to Toot?
I am Toot's third child. I am her daughter.
Tell me how many summers you have spent in Bitterford Pool.
Oh, well, I'm lucky. I've spent 15 summers in the Bitterford Pool.
Wow. I think that's the maximum for everybody. What is your first memory of Bitterford Pool?
My first memory is when we drove up and William was a year old and we got out of the car and we walked into the big house, and our friends who were staying here showed us around the big house, and I remember thinking, wow, this is a big house, this is a beautiful house.
What is your what is your favorite thing to do in Bitterford Pool?
Oh gosh, I think my real favorite thing to do is either to be on Little Beach watching the activity, particularly the birds and stuff come through, or be out on the water along the edge of the ocean looking back and looking at all the rocks and all the wildlife that lives there. That's probably my favorite.
Wow. What is your best memory in Bitterford Pool?
My best memory. Oh, that's a hard one. It's a really hard one, isn't it? Because we all have so many. Probably my best memory is just being on Big Beach and looking around and having all the kids playing games together.
Stacy, thank you for letting us interview you.
Thank you, Ted. You did a good job.
Tell me your full name and your age.
My name is Hillary Morgan Massey Billings, and I'm 43.
How are you related to Toot?
I'm married to Toot's oldest son, Edmund Billings.
What is your tell me how many summers you have spent in Bitterford Pool.
I've spent 11 summers at Bitterford Pool. This is my 11th summer.
What is your first memory of Bitterford Pool?
My first memory is driving down the road with the ocean on one side and the pool on the other, on this little spit of land. It was really beautiful. And we got to the house, and everyone came out of the house and ran down to say hello. And I was pregnant with Ted, so I had a big belly, and I had to waddle up the front stairs of the porch. And then I went through the house, and I loved the house with all the rooms and all the beautiful wallpaper, and I thought it was a beautiful place. That's my first memory.
What is your favorite thing to do in Bitterford Pool?
My favorite thing to do at Bitterford Pool is going to the big beach and waiting for the ice cream truck, and then waiting and then going and having a big ice cream and playing in the water and playing on the sand at the big beach.
I have never asked anybody else, but did you like when you tasted that tear-jerker bomb pop?
The tear-jerker bomb pop is one of the best ice creams.
I just hated it.
Oh, it's too sour.
Yeah, it's too sour. What is your best memory in Bitterford Pool?
There's so many good memories, it's hard to pick one.
Just pick one.
I think my best memory in Biddeford Pool is when we all sit down together at the dinner table and we have a big lobster dinner. That's my best memory of all the memories of Biddeford Pool.
Hillary Morgan Nancy Billings, thank you for letting us interview you.
Thank you, Ted.
Tell me your full name and your age.
I'm Liam Fui and I'm 15 years old.
How are you related to Toot?
I am Toot's daughter's son, so I'm Toot's grandson.
Tell me how many summers you have spent in Biddeford Pool.
11.
What is your first memory of Biddeford Pool?
My first memory of Biddeford Pool is, I think it was just coming here and seeing all the cousins, and you were a baby and holding you. Like learning how to hold a baby, and it was you.
What is your favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool?
Go swimming and go to the beach and play football and stuff.
What is your best memory in Biddeford Pool?
I think the first time we went to the Sea Dogs game is my first memory. Or holding you, probably. Learning how to hold you. I remember that. Very good.
Thanks, Liam, for letting us interview you.
Thanks, Steve.
Okay. Now, my first question is, tell me your full name and your age.
My full name is Phyllis, Phyllis, Ray, R-E-A, it's my maiden name, Billings, B-I-L-L-I-N-G-S, Phyllis Ray Billings. I was born on March 3rd, 1923, so I'm 83 this year.
Tell me how many summers you've spent in Biddeford Pool.
Biddeford Pool. I think 11. 11 years. Coming every summer in August. My goodness, can't believe it. Lovely place.
What is your first memory of Biddeford Pool?
My first memory was the big, beautiful Victorian house with all its bedrooms and wonderful living room, porch, and family gathering places. A nice big kitchen to make our meals. The dining room table with everybody sitting around. I love family, and this was really a good family house.
The next question is, what is your favorite thing to do in Biddeford Pool?
My favorite thing to do at Biddeford Pool? Well, being with my family, I like that the most. I like around the dining table when everybody's there, and we're all together. That's the warmest memory I'll ever have. With all my people and watching them grow. They start out being little embryos in their mothers, and then they come that year, and then every year after that they grow and grow and grow, and they get to be beautiful young people with many facets, things that they do, and more knowledgeable. I love to watch all that, the family growth. And it's the only time of the year when we're all together, and I have my 9 grandsons. And you know, people say to me, no girls? I said, well, there'll be plenty of girls someday, because they're pretty attractive boys. That's true, isn't it? Look at them. Anything else?
There's one more question. What is your best memory of Biddeford Pool?
Of what? Of Biddeford?
Biddeford Pool.
My best memory.
Favorite memory.
Ooh, there are so many. Well, my favorite memory is when all the both sides of the family are here. When the California Billings come and the New England Billings family are all together, that's my favorite thing. Because it's the only time is here in Maine that happens. Once in a while in San Francisco.
Thank you.
What is your best memory from your childhood?
Of my childhood?
Childhood.
Oh, going places with my mother and father, and my father would carry me, and I'd be looking off over his shoulder in the stores to find where the toys were. When I was up that high, I'm always looking to see where the toy counter was. That's my favorite memory, because my father was very kind and loving, and he felt so secure in his arms, and then he'd have me up on his shoulder looking over his shoulder, and I'd be shopping with my eyes for toys. Toys, toys, toys. That's one of your sayings, isn't it?
Yeah.
Toys, toys, toys.
Toys,
We
toys,
love toys.
Tell me about your relationship with your mom. What do you remember about her?
My mother?
Your mother.
Oh, my mother was she was a very many-faceted lady. She had a lot of things. She loved art. She loved antiques, antiquity, and had a great respect for history. And she liked things to be done well and in a ladylike manner, as she used to say to me, trying to bring me up with good manners. And I could talk to my mother about just about anything, and she'd always listen. She'd always considered it important, what I was saying to her, and that was important for my growing up, really.
What about your dad? Tell me about your dad, and what do you remember about him?
Oh, my dad, I guess your father's your first love affair. I love my father dearly, and he carried me around and showed me things. And he was a mechanical engineer, so to speak, and he knew how things worked, and he explained things to me, never too busy not to stop and explain something to me, and I was always asking him questions, and he would always be able to answer them. If he didn't know the answer, he'd look it up and then tell me. He could make anything. I had liked dolls a lot, and I wanted to make a doll, and we were looking around somehow how to make a little doll, and we found a clothespin. It was one of those old-fashioned round clothespins, had a little round head, and he cut off the bottom of the feet, cut it in so it looked like it had little feet, and he put the feet things on for arms, and he painted it for me. I had a little clothespin doll about that big. But that's the way it was. He could do anything like that. And then when we went shopping with my mother and the family, he would be carrying me around, and I could look around. That's when I'm really little, you realize. And but he was always patient. He'd take me to the toy department so I could have a really high look at everything. You could see everything. He seemed to understand when you were little that you needed a higher position to see everything, that you weren't down. I hated being down where the counters were, and there wasn't anything to see.
That reminds me about when I go with Dad. We go to this fish market in San Francisco called Brian's, and they have all the they have all the cut up fillets, and they have like the whole fishes, and I used to like to look at the whole fishes and all the crabs, and so I asked Dad to lift me up so I could see all the crabs and stuff.
That's the same thing, except you're looking for crabs and fish, and I was looking for dollies.
Yeah.
Always dolls. I was crazy about dolls. Played dolls a lot, and we used to play leaf houses. where you went out on the lawn in the fall and you took the leaves, you scooped them together, and you make little squares with leaves around the outside squares, clear in the middle, and put a couple of rocks for a fireplace, and you'd make rooms. So you could live in these little square imaginary rooms.
Wow.
We called it playing leaf house. I don't think you've ever had that, but that was part of the fall games. You know.
The fall games where the leaves fell off the trees.
I had one of my girlfriends lived right across the street when I was in early school, and we didn't use the telephone to call one another. We went out on the front lawn, and I would call across. Her name was Florence Tarman. I'd go, Flory, 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 and if she, pretty soon the door would open, her screen door would open, she'd come out. I'm coming, she'd say. So we called across the street, but our neighborhoods were built like that in Foxborough. That's where I lived, Foxborough, Massachusetts.
Foxborough, Massachusetts.
I lived in a house, an old house, probably built in 1840. And it had a huge yard, and it had large, large oak trees. And I had a swing with huge rope and a big wooden seat my father made. And it swung a long distance because it was way up high in the branches of the oak tree. And you could sit on that swing and pump and go higher and higher and higher. And I loved to do that.
What things did you like to do when you were a child?
Oh, I liked to play dolls with my friends. We played paper dolls and swap things. And real dollies, a lot, because I was a girl. And we played house a lot. And read books and all. We went to museums when we did have them close by, but there were only 2 little places to go.
Tell me how you became a nurse.
Well, my sister was a nurse, and I respected her, and she used to tell me all the interesting things that she saw. She was an Massachusetts General Hospital graduate, and I respected her. She was 7 years older than I, and my brother was 7 years younger. We were fairly wide apart in spacing. So they were older, and she was older, and he was younger by a lot. So, but anyway, I admired her a lot, and she used to tell me what she had to do and how she met all the people and took care of them. So I decided I would do what she did, and I knew how to do that, because she explained it. So I ended up going in training to be a nurse in 1942. I graduated from high school in 1940. I was a pro merito student, honor student, and I loved school, and I've always gone to all my class reunions for 66 years.
Wow.
1940, 2006, and yeah, where was I? What was the last thing I said?
How you became a nurse.
Oh yeah. So I admired my sister, and I decided to do the same thing. It sounded very interesting to me. And so I had to wait a year and a half to go in training because I wasn't old enough. I was only 16 when I graduated, and then so I had to wait until I was 18 to go in training to be a nurse. So when I was 18, I went, and 3 years later I graduated. That was the time it took. I graduated and got a degree in nursing, and then I was pretty good when I was a student. When I was in the operating room, I had a very fine report. And so the superintendent of nursing asked me at graduation time if I'd be interested in coming back to work in the operating room at Massachusetts General Hospital. Well, you can imagine how thrilled I was, because I'd loved my experience there. And in the operating room, you stand up at the table, operating room table, with the patient here and the doctor there, and you have to hand him the instruments to use, and you have to know what he's going to use. So you have to know what's going to happen, and you have to be quick enough to bring things up. So you have to be really prepared. And I liked all that, and I was good at that apparently. And I would collect all the instruments and put them in a kit, sterilize them, and then I'd go to the room I was assigned and put them all out on the table in such a pattern that I could reach back to the table without even looking and know where the instrument was, which was a fine art to me.
Wow.
And I learned how to be good because I worked as second scrub nurse to the first scrub nurse, who was older and well trained, and I would watch her and she would tell me, taught me what she knew, and so I used what she taught me plus the experience, and I got to be pretty good in the operating room. And so I was given the head nurse for the West Surgical Rooms. So I had 2 operating rooms that I ran. One I scrubbed up my hands and got right into with the team, and the other one I supervised when I wasn't operating, technically operating. I would supervise the other room and teach the student nurses. We had student nurses at Mass General, and they all worked everywhere in the hospital, and they were in the operating room too. So then I ended up teaching the students in the operating room.
Wow.
Became an instructor in the operating room, and that was fun, teaching the girls how to do what I knew how to do.
So you taught them how to like use scalpel and how
Yes,
to
exactly.
hand the Surgeon General.
At first you have to learn what's going on, and then you have to learn what to hand up. And you have to know as he's working what's coming next. So, but you develop those skills. They all kind of come along to you, and well, you know how you've learned anything.
Yeah.
And I just adored the operating room. I still, when I think of it, I wish I was back there for a little while.
What were your best memories of being a nurse? Was it teaching the apprentices, or was it handing the surgeon, the head surgeon, his tools, or what was your best memory?
My best memory was actually, I think that my best memory was actually finding myself living up to what I wanted to be and being good at it. And I was thrilled the fact that I could achieve that, and I did. I worked with the chief of surgery, and when he came back from World War II, Dr. Edward Churchill, and he had been the Surgeon General of the European Theater of War in World War II. And when he came back, I was told I could scrub with him and be on the case with him, you know, scrub your hands and get in the gloves and gown and scrub in the case with him and hand him the instruments. Well, I was very nervous knowing he was coming back because he was very fast and pretty famous. He'd done the first famous, made him famous when he did the first upper right lobectomy successfully, and that was quite a step forward. So I was a little anxious, to say the least, but it went off very well, and he thanked me afterwards, and that was pretty nice, because I had lived up to what I had hoped I could do, and that pleased me. Just about tops in anything you do in life. If you achieve what you think you should achieve and you do it, then you feel good about yourself. And that's very important, to do it and do it right and do it and suit yourself, but have high standards.
How did you meet your husband?
Oh, in the operating room. Oh yes, he was very handsome. He's 6'1", and very handsome. He had dark curly hair, and he was a medical student, 4th year medical student at Harvard Medical School. And he came to Massachusetts General to work in the operating room, come to the operating room, and be included in some cases there as they were going on. So I had to scrub with Dr. Smith-Peterson, who was a famous hip surgeon. And in that case, the patient is lying on the table, and the leg that's being operated on is on the upper side, but in order to manipulate the leg so you could get at the hip joint, there had to be a medical student sitting at the foot of the table. And what they would do is they would put the sterile drapes over the patient and include the medical student too. He would be underneath the drapes holding the leg, turning it. The doctor would say, a little bit of abduction, a little bit of adduction, meaning in and out. And the medical student would do that for him so he could dislocate the hip and work on it. Just made it work. So I look up, and there always was the scrub hat and the mask. Not always, but this particular day that I met my husband-to-be, I see the hat and the mask, two bright blue eyes sticking out of the sterile drapes, right at the end of the table, right near my Mayo stand, which was a stand you pull up, put over the feet of the patient, put the drape over it to keep it sterile, and he was right there. So every time I'd pick up a snap, a hemostat, there would his eyes be on me. I was kind of nervous, you know, a romantic thing was happening, and I didn't realize. So anyway, he kept watching me, and we got through the operation anyway, and then everything went well. But afterwards, I had to clean up the room. And I had to take all the instruments and put them in the basin, take all the linen and fold it up, put it in the laundry bag. He was in the room still, and I didn't know why, and I said, hi. And he said, oh, he said, I stayed to ask you if you were busy Saturday night, if you'd like to go out on a date with me. There it was. Those pretty blue eyes. My name is, he said, my name is, and he gave me his name. That was your grandfather.
Tell me about your wedding with him.
Oh, my wedding with him. Ah, that was very nice. We were married at, let me think, where were we married? Oh, I forget where I was married. Oh, anyway, the wedding reception, where was that? That was at the Lincolnshire on Beacon Street, a big wonderful party. And, oh, I was married in the Harvard Memorial Chapel on Harvard University campus. That's where the service took place. And my minister from Foxborough, where I was born and brought up, came up from Foxborough to marry me there. And he liked it very much, being up at Harvard, marrying somebody. And then after that, we went over from Cambridge, where Harvard is, all the way back to Boston. And we went to the Lincolnshire on Beacon Street for the reception. It was very nice. And all my friends were there, and all my husband's friends were there, and all the people that we knew together. It was very, very nice. I had a lovely time. I just smiled so hard and was so happy that my face hurt from smiling. And afterwards I said to Ed, Ed, does your face hurt? He said, yes, my jaw aches from talking. Oh, yes, alone, getting kissed, and everybody's coming through the receiving line. I had 4 bridesmaids. I can't remember how many people came to the wedding, but quite a few. And it was very convenient because most of the people I knew worked in Boston anyway.
Tell me about each of your 3 kids.
Each of my what?
3 kids.
Help Daddy get in here.
Edmund Billings Jr., Edmund, my dad.
Oh, my 3
Lizzie
children.
and Stacy, yeah, the
Oh,
3 children.
that's very interesting because my husband and I were married for 8.5 years, and we loved children, and we were always kind of borrowing other people's children for the fun of it. And so finally, after 8.5 years of marriage, I became pregnant, and I got very huge. And then I had the babies, and December 20th, 1957, I had a set of twins. Edmund, he weighed 6 pounds, 9 ounces, and Elizabeth, who weighed 6 pounds, 2 of them together. Anyway, they were very dear, very sweet little babies. So I took care of them, and they got very busy, and they started to be up and around in a year and a half. And next thing I knew, uh-oh, pregnant again. So by the next year, 2 years later, December 15th, I had a little girl named Stacy Billings, who weighed in at 7 pounds, 14 ounces, a little larger than her brother and sister, but still a baby. So I had 3 babies in 24 months, and I was 35 years of age when I had my babies all in one place. What a wonderful time. It was very busy, but Dad, my husband, their father, decided to call an agency in England. He'd heard this at work, and that people did this, and see if there was an English girl who wanted to come over and live with us for a year. So anyway, he called the agency that he found, and sure enough, he arranged it, and I started having English girls come, I think 3. 3 girls came in 3 consecutive years. So I had a lot of help, and it was much easier for me. There was a lot of baths and clothes, and watching babies at those ages was very, constant. You never took your eyes off the little crowd. They were always into something.
What?
It's like having 2 of Benjamin instead of 1.
That must be awesome. What were your best memories about raising your kids? Like, what were your best
Raising them?
Raising them, yes.
Oh, my best memory about raising the children. Oh, I was happy because I didn't think after 8.5 years that I was ever going to have a baby. And then when I felt very rich. I felt as though I hit the jackpot or had conquered the unknown, and it was a lot of fun. I became a fan of Ilgen Gazelle, who told about babies' development year by year, and so I had a book about that, and I followed very closely about what babies were supposed to do and how they should be to be normal, and mine were quite normal, very exceptional really, I thought, as mothers usually do think their children are exceptional. But I loved them dearly, and I felt rich, just as I feel now with my 9 grandchildren, 9 grandboys. I felt very well off. I thought I was really very lucky. For somebody who put up for adoption, that was really magic to have my own. All healthy, good babies.
Tell me about the trip around the West you took as a family.
Oh, that was fun. Yes. Well, some friends of ours who lived in Denver had a mobile home. And they used to live across the street from me in Barrington. I kept in touch with them, and they let me know they had it. And we called them and arranged to fly out there, pick up the mobile home in Denver, and then drive out around the west and over the mountains, over to California and up the coast. And we did that. And, just my children too. 3 children, my husband and myself. And we had a wonderful experience. Really wonderful. We went to out around Los Angeles and up the coast, right along. What we did is we drove up inland for a little bit in a huge mobile home. It was quite long. I've forgotten how long it was. But it was a large little place to live, actually. And so when we got up to San Francisco, we parked it in a garage and we rented a smaller car so we could drive up and down the hills in San Francisco and not be in such a large vehicle. We had a beautiful time seeing the country. We drove up as far as Sausalito, I guess. That's as far north as we went. And oh, one of the things I forgot to tell you was that my husband had called England, in London, and lined up for English girls to come over and live with us. And that happened for 3 years, and we had 3 neat gals who stayed with us and helped with the children, big time help too. And so what we did was we went and we drove around and we saw them. And well, one of them lived right outside of San Francisco over the Golden Gate Bridge. And we looked all around there. We didn't know where you lived then, and you weren't there yet, so we just looked at everything else. Then after a while, your family became the center of our life on San Francisco area. Oh, Lizzie's going down to the beach. Are you going down to the beach now?
Sorry, talking to
me? What else what's the next question?
Tell me about the other memory. Tell me about other memories you have that are very special to you.
About what?
Very special to you. Other memories that you have.
Other special memories?
Other special.
Well, I think my special memories, the thrilling moments of my life, one was getting married to a wonderful man, a wonderful husband and friend. That was a very special moment. And then the others were when I found I had 2 babies at once. And then when Stacy came along, a fat little sister for the twins. And 2 years later. I think these are my big moments.
Wow.
No question. Most important moments in your life. And now, my thrill is that I have 9 beautiful grandsons going from, I guess it's 18 years down to a year and a half.
21 months.
21 months. And everyone perfectly wonderful and interesting to me, and will always be. I'll always want to know where they are and what they are doing. And I thank them for being who they are.
Toot, thank you for letting us interview you for such a long time.
I loved it. You're good at it. You gave me time. That was good.
Thank you.
Very nice. You take this up on the side.